here. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach, then go into questions. After Coach, we'll have Richie Haggerty and Cam Johnson as our player representatives. If you have a question after Coach's statement, go ahead, raise your hand, get my attention. Go from there. Coach.
You know, obviously very disappointed in the result. Really proud of our effort. You know, had another good week of preparation. You know, our guys showed up with the expectation of winning this football game. Shared with the team afterwards, you know, and some of the decision making that went into the second half. Again, you know, the expectation wasn't just to make it a you know, a good game or, you know, protect stats. I mean, we were going to make decisions based on trying to find a way to win this football game. And there'll be plenty of things that we can learn from as we go back and review the tape. But, you know, I think this team, as it continues to mature and really understand who it is, should walk away from this opportunity understanding how critical it is to play complementary football, how critical it is to play for 4 quarters, and when we do show up at our best, you know, the opportunities that are going to be in front of us moving forward. All that we chase after as a program at the end of the day is still right in front of us.
Coach, is there any update on Ben's status? Left the game with what looked like a shoulder injury.
You know, not at this time. We'll manage that as we go throughout the week, and we'll see what we get back from our medical staff.
He was listed as questionable. Is there any concerns about something long term?
No.
But you kind of alluded to the decisions to go for it on 4th down, the fake punt and the other one earlier in the game. Just kind of what went into that decision making, especially with the way your defense was playing versus the offense struggling.
Yeah, you know, I think it was just a point in the game, again, with a 4th and 1, and you know, a very talented defense at Penn State and an offense that we understood we were going to battle our tails off and continue to keep at bay. But at some point, you know, needed to find some opportunities to take some calculated risk, if you want to call it that, to create an extra possession, to elongate a drive, to give us opportunities to put points on the board. You know, again, putting the ball in Arlie Mangieri's hands on a fake punt, I'll put in that young man's hands every single time. And, you know, on a 4th and half a yard, again, you know, not going to regret that decision. Trust our O-line and Ben to convert that.
Coach, obviously not the result, but the first half, you guys came out and played faster than you had in previous games. What do you thought was the biggest thing you saw from your defense, especially that defensive line early in the game?
Yeah, you know, I challenge that defensive line, you know, in a positive manner, but, you know, much respect for Penn State and their offensive line, the way that they're coached. But I think we're starting to have an understanding of who we can be as a defensive line group. Challenge that group post-Duke about what it looked like to really, you know, win at the line of scrimmage and defeat blocks and get off of blocks and be an extra hat in the run game and the pass game. And, you know, I think that group is responding to that call. We need that group to continue to mature, develop, and be a huge factor in these games moving forward.
And on the other hand, your offensive line gave up 7 sacks. They had Ben and Brendan under pressure, running for their lives all day. What does that group need to do better?
You know, we'll take a look at the tape and evaluate it. I thought that group made enormous strides last week against Minnesota. We understood the stress and the pressure that would be under that group and our offense as a whole, just in terms of the way that Penn State's defense is structured and the aggressive nature of it. The best thing that you can do against an opponent like that is stay in the game, specifically 1-score games, play with a lead, and not turn it into a drop-back pass game, which unfortunately, due to the score, especially in the second half, that's what it turned into. We need to find more balance to help protect that group.
10 scouts from 10 different NFL teams here today. I think they got maybe 3 or 4 first-round potential picks on the other side. When you were scouting for this game, like, who really jumped out at you in the film to prep for?
Yeah, you know, specifically just with my lens and you know what I'm looking at. You know, at their offense, and then collecting information from our offensive staff, what exists on their defense. The guys that really stood out to me, you know, specifically were the quarterback. I mean, just arm talent, his consistency, being able to push the ball to the field number 1 is something that really jumps out. His decision making, you know, coming in the game with 0 turnovers, and just his ability to extend some plays with his feet, and then the running backs. I mean, are just they are a talented group. Those are the guys that stood out to me.
alluding to that first half, what do you think changed there as you went into halftime into the second half, whether that be from your standpoint or on the opposite side of the field for Penn State?
Yeah, at the end of the day, everyone's gonna look at this game and look at who Penn State is, and I alluded to it in press conferences, and even with our team this week. No one on the outside expected us to win this football game, for many reasons. We expected to, and at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity for us to evaluate, how we can continue to improve and play with more consistency. If anything, that first half should be, an opportunity for us to see what we're capable of and continue to challenge ourselves to find a way to put 4 quarters together against, a top 10 opponent.
Coach, special teams today had a big impact. AJ with 2 big returns, the kickoff fumble to begin the game. What do you see now with those units, especially some of the guys who are mostly special teamers for this team?
I mean, gosh, that's what Northwestern football is all about. Especially considering the situation with our roster right now. Every single young man on our roster plays an absolutely critical role, and we don't need 4-star, 5-star guys running down on kickoff or playing on offense or defense for that matter. We just need dudes that love football, that are passionate about playing for the guys in that locker room. And there's no greater reflection for how much you truly care about your team than your effort and energy that you put into special teams. Last time I checked, no one came out of high school and said, it's my dream to be the be the starting right guard on the punt team. But the effort and energy that you put in those special teams is a direct reflection about how much you care about your teammates. I see guys like Robert Fitzgerald running down on kickoff with their hair on fire, ready to do whatever it takes. Coco, starting safety for a senior captain that's given it his all on special teams. That's the type of effort, energy, passion, selflessness that we need to continue to embody to get the results that we're looking for.
But your defensive line has basically put together really 6 straight quarters of playing better against the run. What have you noticed in terms of improvement from that group, and how do you think it can continue going?
I think so much of it comes to just playing with a knockback mentality, establishing a line of scrimmage. We are a certain attitude and demeanor in terms of finish every play unblocked, and that's not running away from blocks. That is being physical, playing with violent hands, getting off of blocks. You have to destruct blocks, and I think that's something that has been preached ever since Duke. They continue to embody it. It's something that we need to continue to stress. Some of the leaders in that group are stressing and emphasizing that in practice. That needs to continue, but I think that's a critical piece to your question.
Coach, Coach Franklin told the media earlier this week that they stopped playing music during their practices to prepare for the more quiet environment of Ryan Field. What can you say about the crowd today and what you thought about when you heard those statements?
Do we know when Penn State returns to Evanston, to Ryan Field? I'll tell you what, I saw a group of student section, maybe not right there at 11 o'clock, but as the game wore on, I saw a student section that started to show up. I saw a group of energized fans in that first half, and I see a football program that's trending in the right direction. New stadium on the way. Lot of awesome stuff to get behind. I look forward to inviting Coach Franklin and Penn State back into Ryan Field and seeing what type of environment we can create for him next time he's here.
Coach, in your statement you mentioned trying to play complementary football. The run game took some time to get going again. What do you guys think you have to do to improve that so that way it's easier for the quarterbacks to get time?
Yeah, part of that's just balance. Part of that's, finding ways to stay the course, stay patient, even if we're down by 7 or 10, and just trust that, a 1st and 10 to a 2nd and 7 to a 3rd and 4 is okay. You just find a balance there and again, finding ways to, a heck of a job last week by our team, but even against Minnesota, we got to find ways to play with a lead. You start to play with a lead, it's a lot easier as an offensive play caller to find some balance there.
Coach, Bryce last week had over 200 yards. Cam this week with a good day as well. What can you say about this receiver group and what Coach Binns has done for this group?
I just love to watch these guys work and compete. The consistency that they show in practice. Awfully proud of that group, especially those 2 guys. It's not a surprise. it's not a surprise. What shows up in practice is showing up on Saturdays. So credit to those guys. What a great example for young players within our program of what great work within the week can do for you come game day.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll go right into questions. On your left, Cam Johnson. On the right, Richie Haggerty. If you have a question for one of them specifically, make sure you direct your question to them. Go right to questions.
A question for Cam. You guys played a really tough Penn State secondary, probably one of the best in the country. What did it mean for you individually to go out and show in front of 10 NFL teams that you can have a successful day against that type of talent?
I think that's sort of what I came here for. I knew that there was going to be a chance to put my talents on display. I think that we had a good game plan and that the offense did a good job of executing, and the coaches sort of just put me in a good spot to go out there and show what I could do. And so it's definitely grateful for it, but ultimately would have much rather had the team win.
Richie, after some tough days for you guys in the run game, you guys really stepped up today against a really good Penn State running group. What did you see from your team, especially this D-line group, as you guys continue to work your way through the season?
I mean, obviously, we just trusted in ourselves. It's, I mean, that's the main thing we've been doing, trusting in the game plan, trusting in ourselves, and really breaking our backs for each other, essentially. Going 110%, never giving up, understanding that there's another group of guys that's going to come in and do the same exact thing. So knowing that you got troops and cavalry coming, we're going to keep going 110%, just back ourselves off the game plan and ourselves.
Penn State entered the game without a turnover on the season. What kind of momentum did that early fumble get going?
I think the early fumble obviously sparked a lot of momentum. Obviously, it's I think our first special teams turnover that big. So first play of the game, I mean, starting off like that is huge. But I mean, we got to continue that momentum. Obviously, I mean, not just let it die off with one play and continue that momentum and stay level-headed. Obviously, I think we got a little too high on that one, and we got to keep our heads level and obviously not too high, not too low, and keep striving to just continue that through the game.
Cam, obviously Ben, under a lot of duress today, still telling the point. What did you see from him today? Have you talked to him since he's left the game with the injury?
I haven't had a chance to talk with him, but I think that Ben did a good job of being tough, standing in the pocket, delivering, making throws under duress, and then making plays with his feet when he had to as well. I think that's something that maybe some people didn't expect, but that we're seeing that he's able to do in the last 2 weeks. And so I think he'll continue that, and it'll be good for our offense.
Richie, having played at Southern Illinois, not really the chance to play a team like Penn State very often, but you really put everything on full display. What did it mean for you kind of personally to have a game like that against this caliber of opponent?
I mean, obviously, kind of what Cam said, I came here to display what I can do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I mean, it's disappointing to not get a team win, obviously. I mean, that's the biggest thing. That's one of the main things we came here to do is to rebuild and obviously get wins and team wins. And obviously coming off of last year, when I played them at SIU versus, I mean, at home. So it's definitely that's what we're striving for mainly. But obviously, we're going to always try to put our best attributes on the field at all times, no matter what.
Cam, can you talk about your confidence or what you saw in Brendan Sullivan coming in, especially with Ben going down, that would mean Sullivan to be under center?
Definitely. I mean, I've gotten to work with Ben. I mean, yeah, Sully since we first got here in the spring. And he's been a guy that's taken charge. He's been a great leader for our team, even when he hadn't been the #1 quarterback. He does a good job of working each week, working extra with the guys in case something like this happens. And so I think that for us, there was no flinch for us. We didn't have any doubts that Sully was going to come in and play a great game. And we'll continue to have that confidence in him moving forward no matter what happens.
Cam, obviously Bryce last week has over 200 yards. You have an 80-yard day. AJ's been doing a bunch of different things. What can you say about this receiver group and how you guys have developed throughout the season, especially what Coach Vince has brought as a coach for you guys?
Definitely. I think that it's something I've hit on a couple times. It's just that we have so much depth in our receiver room. I mean, it was a battle coming through camp for who's going to be the #1 guy, who's going to be a backup and things like that. And I think that that's honestly really good for our team. I think that it's made us as receivers better, and it's also just gives the quarterbacks and ourselves a lot of confidence that we can go out and play hard every play because we know that if somebody comes in, there's not going to be any drop-off. I think Coach Benz does a good job of challenging us each and every day, making sure that he finds little things in our games that he can make us better at individually and as a collective. So I think that throughout the year we're just going to keep sending, and you're going to continue to see big things from a multitude of guys.
Yeah, when you guys went into halftime, you were kind of showing that you could go blow for blow with this team. Was there anything that was told to you by your coaches or that you were telling each other trying to convey in preparation for that second half?
I mean, I think the one thing we've been preaching these last few games is belief. We hear that ringing around everywhere. It's just belief in ourselves, belief in our coaches, and belief in everybody in this program. Because at the end of the day, our backs are against the wall. They have been for a while. And obviously, we just have to lean on ourselves. So the belief is always there. It's still there. I mean, obviously, we have stuff to learn from. But, yeah, we're going to believe in ourselves at the end of the day no matter what.
Anything else? Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
all.
you.